Hey guys, and welcome back. Today is Monday, which means we get to share the whole week. Yes, we get to learn together, grow together, and hopefully read some pretty cool books along the way. So, what are we doing today? We have a super fun art activity planned for you guys, but before we jump right into that, let's talk about our riddle. So, today's riddle, it does require a little bit of brain power, but I believe in you guys. Our riddle today is, what begins and ends with E? All right, I'll let you guys think of it. And then at the end of the video, after we read James and the Giant Peach, we will figure out the answer together. For today's art activity, guys, we've got something super fun planned. Doing these was probably one of my favorite things when I was younger. I would spend hours. When I say hours, I really mean like days, just doodling away on these things. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Shrinky Dinks. As you can see, I already have some hearts drawn up. It's kind of hard to see because I am drawing on clear paper. That's what Shrinky Dinks are. So, as you can see, I've got some hearts drawn up. I will cut them out shortly, and I will tell you guys how to make Shrinky Dinks right along with me. What you're going to need is, of course, some Shrinky Dink paper. You can get it online. You can maybe find it in your house if you're crafty, if mom and dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa's got some extra craft supplies laying around. And you're going to need some permanent markers. If you have a different type of paper though, sometimes colored pencils work. There's all different types of paper, all different types of things to use to color them. Now, what are you going to do? How do we make this work? Well, we're going to cut these out. So you'll be needing some scissors. And then once they're all ready to go, you're gonna wait for mom and dad, and they will help you with this next part. You're going to preheat your oven to 275. Mom and dad will put them into the oven for you. Keep an eye on them. Make sure mom and dad are close because these things curl up quickly. The heat shrinks the plastic, but the plastic doesn't go flat. No, it goes like this. It goes whoosh. So make sure you're standing by, standing guard, making sure they don't curl up too crazy. Ask mom and dad, they'll help you, I promise. So, what did I create? As you guys saw, I had some hearts. I'm gonna add a bit more and I'll show you them before I put them in the oven. All right, guys, so I'm about to show you what my Shrinky Dinks look like before I put them into the oven. Now, I'm not gonna show you guys this part because you need an adult. So, you guys will just have to talk to your guardians. What am I doing? Here we go. I put a little love in there, cut it out all the way. I'm gonna be turning these into jewelry, so make sure you punch a hole in there so you can put it on a necklace, put it on whatever you want. If you wanna put it on your earring, ooh, whatever your heart desires. Now, let's go bake them. Here they are. Look at them. Aren't they so cute? I know you can't see them too well because there is some clearness there, but look at that. Oh, so cute. I think I'm gonna put them on an earring. You guys can do whatever you want with yours, whether you wanna put it into a different craft, make it jewelry, it's all up to you. I hope you guys have fun and create something cool. Today, our positive action is kind of like a review of sorts. So, we talk a lot about big ideas here, right? If you followed us, you know we've covered things like empathy, like respect, self-respect, and even self-awareness. Now, these are by no means something that you can just master and learn from one little part of a video, right? No, that's completely unrealistic. We can definitely take these things, use them in real life, and kind of check ourselves to make sure we're doing okay. Like I said, being self-aware. Now, you might be saying, so Emma, we've talked about all of these things. What are we gonna talk about today? Specifically, we'll be talking about, again, the courage to try. I just really want you guys to understand new things are scary. New things are overwhelming. And there'll be times where there's new things and you should say no. You should say, that is not for me. And you can be comfortable in that decision. But there are times where we won't get that opportunity again. Where if we don't take this moment and make the most out of it, it's not coming by again. So I challenge you to try new things. Be safe, but try new things, new foods, new opportunities, new approaches to problems that you've been facing probably a long time. New ways to do math homework, maybe new ways to conquer a problem, maybe new ways to speak to someone about a problem that you've both been facing. There are so many opportunities when you just have courage. And I know it's hard, but I believe in you and you can do it. So now that we've talked about our little tip, let's move on to our book. I hope you guys are excited because guess what time it is? Oh yes, it is that time to read our chapter book, James and the Giant Peach. And if you guys remember, James the earthworm and all the bug friends were getting up to something seriously crazy. They are lassoing seagulls with silk to make the peach float out of the water to get away from the sharks. Absolute madness. So let's jump right back in and see what's happening. Next one, he shouted, jumping back into the tunnel. Up you get again, earthworm. Bring up some more silk, centipede. Oh, I don't like this at all, wailed the earthworm. It only just missed me. I even felt the wind on my back as it went swishing past. Shh, whispered James. Keep still. Here comes another one. So they did it again and again and again and again, and the seagulls kept coming, and James caught them one after the other and tethered them to the peach's stem. 100 seagulls, he shouted, wiping the sweat from his face. Keep going, they cried, keep going, James. 200 seagulls, 300 seagulls, 400 seagulls. The sharks, as though sensing that they were in danger of losing their prey, were hurling themselves at the peach more furiously than ever, and the peach was sinking lower and lower still into the water. 500 seagulls, James shouted. Silkworm says she's running out of silk, yelled the centipede from below. She says she can't keep it up much longer, nor Miss Spider. Tell them they've got to, James answered. They can't stop now. We're lifting. No, we're not. I felt it. Put on another seagull, quick. Quiet, everybody, quiet. Here's one coming now. This was the 501st seagull. And the moment that James caught it and tethered it to the stem of the peach with all the other strings, the whole enormous peach suddenly started rising up out of the water. Look out, here we go. Hold on, boys. But then it stopped and it hung there. It hovered and swayed, but it went no higher. The bottom of it was just touching the water. It was delicately balanced scale that needed only the tiniest push to tip it one way or the other. One more will do it, shouted the old green grasshopper, looking out of the tunnel. We're almost there. And now came the big moment. Quickly, the 502nd seagull was caught and harnessed to the peach stem. And then slowly, but majestically, like some fabulous golden balloon, with all seagull stringings up above them, the giant peach rose up, dripping out of the water, and began climbing towards the heavens. Woo! Part 23. In a flash, everybody was on top. Oh, isn't it beautiful, they cried. What a marvelous feeling. Goodbye, sharks. Oh boy, this is the way to travel, Miss Spider, who was literally squealing with excitement, grabbed the centipede by the waist. The two of them started dancing around the top of the peach together. The earthworm stood up on his tail and did a sort of wiggle with joy, all by himself. The grasshopper kept hopping higher and higher into the air. The ladybird rushed over and shook James warmly by the hand. The glowworm, who at best of times was very shy and a silent creature, sat glowing with pleasure near the tunnel's entrance. Even the silkworm, looking white and thin and completely exhausted, came creeping out of the tunnel to watch this miraculous ascent. Up, up they went, and soon they were as high as the top of the church steeple above the ocean. I'm a bit worried about the peach, James said to the others as soon as all the dancing and shouting had stopped. I wonder how much damage those sharks did underneath. It's quite impossible to tell from up here. Why don't we go over the side and make an inspection? Miss Spider said. It'll be no trouble at all, I assure you. And without waiting for an answer, she quickly produced a length of silk thread and attached it to the end of the peach's stem. I'll be back in a jiffy, she said, and then she walked calmly over the edge of the peach and jumped off, paying out the thread behind her as she fell. The others crowded anxiously around the place where she had gone over. Wouldn't it be dreadful if the thread broke? The ladybird said. There was a rather long silence. Are you all right, Miss Spider? Shouted the grasshopper. Yes, thank you, her voice answered from below. I'm coming up now. And up she came, climbing foot over foot with the silk thread, and at the same time tucking the thread back cleverly into her body as she climbed past it. Is it awful? They asked her. Is it all eaten away? Are there giant holes everywhere? Miss Spider answered back onto the deck with a pleased but also a rather puzzled look on her face. You won't believe this, she said, but actually, there's hardly any damage down there. The peach is almost untouched. There are a few tiny pieces out here and there, but nothing more. You must be mistaken, James told her. Of course she's mistaken, the centipede said. I promise you I'm not, Miss Spider answered. But there were hundreds of sharks around us. They churned the water into froth. We saw their great mouths opening and shutting. I don't care what you saw, Miss Spider answered. They certainly didn't do much damage to the peach. Then why did it start sinking? Perhaps we didn't start sinking, the old green grasshopper suggested. Perhaps we were all so frightened that we simply imagined it. This, in point of fact, was closer to the truth than any of them knew. A shark, as you see, has an extremely long, sharp nose, and its mouth is set very awkwardly underneath its face and a long back way. This makes it more or less impossible for it to get its teeth into a vast, smooth, curving surface such as the side of the peach. Even if the creature turns on its back, it still can't do it because its nose gets in the way. If you've ever seen a small dog trying to get its teeth into an enormous ball, then you'll be able to imagine roughly how sharks were trying to get at the peach. It must have been some kind of magic, the ladybird said. The holes must have healed up by themselves. Oh, look, there's a ship below us, shouted James. Everybody rushed to the side and peered over. None of them had ever seen this ship before. It looks like a big one. It's got 3 funnels. You can see the people on the decks. Let's wave to them. Do you think they can see us? Neither James nor any of the others knew, but the ship was now passing beneath them, called the Queen Mary, sailing out of the English Channel on their way to America. And on the bridge of the Queen Mary, the astonished captain was standing with a group of his officers, all of them gasping at the great round ball hovering overhead. I don't like it, the captain said. Nor do I, the first officer. Do you think it's following us? Said the second captain. I tell you, I don't like it, muttered the captain. It could be dangerous, said the first officer. That's it, cried the captain. It's a secret weapon. Holy cats, send a message to the Queen at once. The country must be warned, and give me my telescope. The first officer handed them the telescope to the captain. The captain put it to his eye. There's birds everywhere, he cried. The whole sky is teeming with birds. What in the world are they doing? And wait a second. There are people on it? I can see them moving. Do I have this focused right? It looks like a little boy in short trousers. Yes, I can distinctly see a little boy in short trousers standing up there. And there's a giant, ladybird? Now, just a minute, Captain, the first officer said. And a colossal green grasshopper? Captain, the first officer said sharply. Captain, please. And a mammoth spider. Oh dear, he's been at the whiskey again, whispered the second officer. And a simply enormous centipede. Screamed the captain. Call the ship's doctor, the first officer ordered. Our captain is not well. A moment later, the great round ball disappeared into a cloud, and the people on the ship never saw it again. So, that's where we will pick up on tomorrow's video. I am so excited to continue reading with you guys, but before I say my goodbyes, let me talk about our riddle. If you guys remember, at the beginning of the video, we talked about our riddle, which was, if you guys remember, our riddle was, what begins with an E but only has one letter in it? Are you ready? An envelope. Get it? Because it starts with an E, but it's got a letter in it because that's what you use to send letters in the mail. Oh, I thought it was a hoot, and I hope you guys did too. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.